Warning. The following podcast contains two morons talking about sophisticated subject matter, like ninus and hoo-has. Also a few whoopsie-daisies and at least one house or auntie. If you don't have a strong stomach, you know where the door is. Right. On with the shenanigans then. The podcast which you are about to hear is an account of the tragedy which befell two washed-up losers. In particular, Court PSYOPS and his immature co-host, Matt. It was all the more tragic in that they were uncultured morons. But had they lived very, very full lives, they could not have expected, nor would they have wished to see as much of the mad and macabre as they were to see each week. For them, an idiotic podcast show became a nightmare. The events of each week were to lead to the discovery of one of the most bizarre crimes in the annals of American history, Cinema PSYOPS, with Court and Matt.
What is PSYOPS?
PSYOPS, for psychological operations, is very simply the art of influencing how people feel and think, and ultimately how they behave and what they do. You don't have to defeat the enemy on the battlefield. It's better if you can convince the enemy to do what you want him to do without having to fight him. And that's really the intent behind PSYOPS, to convince people to do what you want them to do.
So how does PSYOPS fit into what's happening now?
The 2 points I'd like to make with you and the audience is that, first and foremost, PSYOPS saves lives. The second thing I'd like to say, a lot of people have misconception about PSYOPS. They think it's something devious and brainwashing.
You say you don't know exactly what's going on right now, but we do know that there are some PSYOPs going on, right?
Ma'am, I don't know.
Cinema PSYOPS.
And I believe with all of my heart that it is a contributing factor to our juvenile delinquency of today. Why I believe that is because I know how it feels. I know what it does to you.
Cinema PSYOPS.
They think it's something devious and brainwashing.
Welcome to the 293rd consecutive week of Cinema PSYOPS. I'm your host, Court, who is in no way jacked up on some kind of amphetamine that's legal for him to do. I swear to fucking God. And my co-host, who is definitely down in the dumps, but grateful March Mattei's finally over, is Matt.
So, did you snort it? Did you snort the amphetamine? Because that'll get you lit.
Why would you say that? I don't understand.
I'm just, I'm not jealous or anything. I'm not just, give me the fucking amphetamine! Oh, sorry. Woo, holy cow. Where did that guy come from? I don't even know who that was.
No, I'm in seriously deep ketosis right now, so I am like annoying ketone man. Like I can't fucking stop. That little yappy dog I always say that I am when I feel annoying, where I'm just like, hey, let's do this. Hey, let's. I'm fucking there. I'm like jumping up and down and bouncing around like a fucking maniac. It's insane. I don't like it. I'm overproductive. It's not fucking cool.
Why? Jesus Christ! Stop being all that way then.
Well,
what the fuck's wrong with you?
Well, I mean, it does feel pretty good though too.
I would assume that it's like the moms who take the kids Adderall.
Yeah, I could totally see that. But this is all natural, kind of.
Yeah. I mean, that's better. But
yeah.
I'm just saying what it's like. Wasn't trying to judge or anything yet.
Dude, I'm not taking some kids Adderall, but I am worried that I might get put on it myself at some point.
Who cares? Let them come take you. Shit feels real good.
That's really my main concern and why I'm kind of like not really wanting to go to therapy, because I've just talked to my friends, and when I open up and start saying some of my more innermost thoughts, most of you are like, dude, shut the fuck up. You're freaking me out.
Yeah, you'll be fine if you have to go to therapy. They're not going to send you anywhere.
Are you sure?
I mean, you? Probably not. Somebody else? Maybe.
I'm the right shade to wear my mental illness. I can wear it like a badge and like bring awareness for everybody else. Is that what you're saying?
You're close to a middle-aged white dude. Yeah, of course. That's what I'm saying. Are you insane? You're not using your privilege at all over here because you have it. You can literally go into a doctor, say the kind of shit you say, and you're going to be fine.
That makes me feel even fucking worse. I mean, like,
it should, but
I could buy a gun and no one would stop me.
Exactly. You'd get it almost next day.
Right, unless
I can't even get shit from Amazon that quickly.
Right, I could probably walk out of the store with a rifle.
Yeah, and it takes me 4 days to get fucking toilet paper. So I'm just saying, you're fine.
Wait, you're ordering toilet paper on Amazon?
No, I just thought the first thing I could think of. I'm not actually doing that. I go to the fucking store.
So, hoarding toilet paper, now that we're officially about a year into the pandemic, because as of this recording, this is when they dropped the tiger shit on the Netflix, and everyone went nuts for it, and it became this huge cultural phenomenon where everyone watched it at once.
That's right.
It was like a year ago today.
And I got to admit, I'd be like, yeah, it's not worth the hype, but that fucking shit was worth the fucking hype. Every time what?
As of this recording, it's a year ago today.
Yeah, but that's amazing. Like I said, dude, I every time I was watching that, and I'm like, there's no way it's going to live up this hype everyone has. And it did, because every time I was like, well, it's not going to get any more fucked up from here. It got more fucked up from there.
Yeah, and just when we thought the same thing about the pandemic, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, it's actually just the way I've been feeling about this country for the last 10 years. It can't get any more fucked up this year, and it gets more fucked up that year. I'm going to stop saying it because it can't be good.
Speaking of, that reminds me of the thing that always happens with you and I from Dawn of the Dead. I brought it to your attention first, and you didn't believe me that it would happen, so you tested it out, and now you're a true believer that we got it by the ass. We got this by the ass. You never fucking say that. Because the minute you say that and you mean it, that's when things go bad for you.
Never fucking say it. If you say it, you get whatever you get. And I won't feel bad for you either. If you say that, and then you're like, oh my God, Matt, you know what just happened to me? I'm going to be like, I don't fucking care what just happened to you. I know what you said, so fucking live with that.
Even something as simple as video games and saying that when I thought I just cleared a level.
Yeah, exactly. You're going to be like, oh my God, I have to start all the way from the beginning. I'm going to be like, wow, maybe you should have been a fucking idiot and said dumb shit.
I'm bringing this up because the movie this week, Hell of the Living Dead, so desperately wants to be on the level of Dawn of the Dead, and so much borrows heavily some serious iconography from Dawn of the Dead.
Yeah.
But also wholesale lifts the Goblin's score and put this in the film. Apparently they wanted to hire Goblin, but it was way too cost inhibitive to have them record an actual soundtrack.
What did the Dawn?
Yeah, the Dawn synthesized score that you know and love is Goblin.
Yes. Yeah. I know, and you could tell they tried to fake it right at the beginning.
Oh, they flat out steal the tracks, though, Matt. Not only that, they also take soundtrack elements from another movie. Jesus, I can't think of it off the top. Oh, Contamination. They wholesale lift opening and closing themes from Contamination. There is like maybe one or two moments of score that they paid for for this movie specifically, but the bulk of the soundtrack of this film is soundtracks of other films repurposed.
And now, I will say this, without a shadow of doubt, the best way to end Mattei. We ended it the strongest. And I'll get into other reasons why I think that. Because, it's not the regular reasons, but, well, some of it is. But
okay, well, this is, and I said it before we did this is my favorite Mattei film of all of the ones that I've seen so far.
Yeah,
all right?
and I can see why, because it is mine as well.
Right, it is by far the most enjoyable Bruno Mattei film that we have yet to watch on this show.
Yes.
We can both say that for sure.
Now, I can say it for sure. Now,
neither of us is saying, is it a good movie? No,
not even a little bit.
Absolutely not. Is it enjoyable?
The wife watched this with me because it's a zombie movie, and by the middle of it, she's like, what is exactly happening? I'm like, don't ask that question in a Mattei movie. You don't need to know what's happening.
It's not what's happening. It's what are you seeing right now? That's all that matters.
I mean, stop trying to make this what it's not, all right?
Okay, so you are now a convert to the Mattei way of movie watching. It takes you 4 episodes, but by the end of every Mattei month, you are on board for Mattei until the next time around. It's so fucking weird this happens like this.
It has to grow. It's like a fungus.
Maybe you almost need to like rewatch a Mattei film or two that you enjoyed to get the flavor back. Like this one, because you can tolerate it again, maybe you should do Hell of the Living Dead, and then possibly not Cruel Jaws. Obviously, that was too much for you.
No, it can't be Cruel Jaws.
Right, we'll have to find Shocking Dark. I think would be a good one. I think you really enjoyed Shocking Dark, so I think that's where we need to go. Is we need to get you like 1 or 2 Mattei films that you're used to, so you get used to the flavor, and then we throw the new shit at you, emphasis on shit, and see how it sticks.
Too bad we came up with this plan like right at like towards the end of any Mattei. So I don't know how much Mattei is left. Then again, didn't you say you found a treasure trove of like shit he didn't actually do?
So there is, you know how we covered the Lucio Fulci movie where he directed half of it? Technically, this movie, Hell of the Living Dead, Claudio Fragassi directed half of it. And that's the guy who did Troll 2, Matt. So you should be thankful that I am not taking you through a Fragassi February. Yeah, now that I've said it, this is the rule.
I was about to say, now that you've said it, I'm pretty sure you're gonna fucking do it.
Just hearing it out loud, it sounds like the kind of thing that I should do.
Yeah, it really does. So,
but I don't want to suffer through Fragassi either. Is the guy who did Troll 2, dude? No, thank you. Is there a good Fragassi film? I put it to you, gentle listener, to find that for me. And by good, I mean at least in Mattei okay.
In Mattei okay?
Yeah.
Oh my god. Fucking, you're starting to fucking lose it right now.
Look, I'm okay. You're Mattei. It's okay.
No, everything's okay.
All right, I'm getting delirious. Let's get out of this. Let's get out of this fucking intro, and we're gonna move on, and we're gonna actually get into the parts where we do the reviews.
All right, finally.
Hey.
This'll keep it quiet.
Oh, hi there. I didn't see you. You caught me cutting a new show. I'm Bo Ransdell, and I'm one of the many creators you can find on Legion Podcasts. I said quiet! My fellow podcasters and I work hard to bring you the best in horror podcasting, but that comes at a cost.
Wouldst thou like to live deliciously?
Not that, but also yes. No, what I'm getting at is that there are server costs, costs for good microphones and software for editing, all the things that make our shows, fun to listen to. And you can help. If you're enjoying the shows on legionpodcasts.com or in the Legion Network available on iTunes and Stitcher, just about anywhere you can download a podcast, really, you can help us out and get a little something for your trouble at patreon.com/Legion Podcasts. For just $2 a month, you get a pair of movie commentaries exclusive to Patreon, and for $5, you can also join us for a monthly screening of a movie. All of that available on patreon.com/Legion Podcasts. We appreciate it, and thank you for listening. Now, back to the cutting room.
The fuck out of Contamination. That whole entire sequence.
Really?
Yes.
Jesus.
It's like a full track that was for a scene in Contamination that they use in the film Hell of the Living Dead.
That makes a lot of sense for a Mattei movie.
Well, and the music that I'm playing right now is more than likely also stolen from Contamination because I'm going to be playing something underneath this. So everybody be cool. I also stole this because it was stolen again.
Yeah, but you're not trying to take, fucking credit for everything.
I will take credit for the cuts I did on this trailer.
The whole village is contaminated. There have been many deaths. Now they're celebrating the funerals.
Bodies have to be cremated.
Wish to God I knew what's happening here.
I insist that the most serious situation we have to deal with is cremating the bodies. Cut it out! Stop wasting your damn bullets, you jerks! You need to hit their heads! I told you! Say it like this! Get away! Beat it! Clear out! Goddamn rat! Go! Hey! Look out! What's wrong, huh? You disappointed? Sorry, boys, I'm not on the menu after all. Don't let it worry you. I think you will all meet again. In hell! Huh? Hurry up, get going. Here they come. Who's over there? What happened?
I heard some funny noises in the back there.
Hurry.
Rigger, check the coordinates.
Experimental project Operation Sweet Death must be considered a complete failure.
All these high-powered installations, like a factory from a future world, safely hidden.
You're all doomed to a horrible death. Doomed to be eaten up. First they'll kill you.
You won't get me!
And that was the whole fucking movie, all packaged up in a trailer. Again, posting the name up in text because, well, that way they don't actually have to say the name of the film. They just have this highlight reel. That original trailer was damn near 4 minutes, and I cut it down to just damn near 2.
Jesus Christ. And I only got damn 4 clips out of this whole fucking thing.
Yeah, there better be a whole bunch of expository dialogue clips because that's literally the only like talking you got in the film was explaining what was happening right in front of you.
Kinda, yeah. And it was only did it 4 because I thought it was so fucking worthless to have it otherwise.
Yeah, you don't watch this film for the dialogue, but what you do get from this film is quite literally every Italian subgenre in exploitation rolled into one flick, minus maybe the Nazi stuff.
Because you're not watching this for a story.
Well, no, there's no way that you possibly can glom a story from this. There's no
cohesive story here.
No,
like at one point, if we're going to get to it, these guys just end up in Guam. They're just in Guam. Now we're in Guam. We've arrived in Guam.
Right. I can sort of piece together what is supposed to be happening to try and explain to you why they're all of a sudden in Guam.
Yeah,
and
but, I mean, it's still not all that great.
And I will tell you when we are in Guam and when we're not in Guam.
Yeah, and I kind of know when we are not in Guam, but it still fucking doesn't make any sense that they all end up in fucking Guam. But anyway.
Yes, it actually does, and I can explain why, but I don't want to yet because it's going to ruin the story, so let's just do it.
All right. Hell of the Living Dead, first 20. We start at a facility. Everyone's checking instruments. Apparently, there's something of a leak going on. These 2 guys, they're checking for it in protective suits. Mainly, they're talking about whether they're ass or tit men, and not really paying attention to the work. That's kind of fucked up. So
yeah, and they're being extremely denigrating about women.
Oh yeah.
So not just like you can say what body part you prefer or have a fetish for, and that's fine. But you can also do it in such a way that you're not completely denigrating the owner of those said body parts.
And I believe they're talking about a fellow scientist lady.
Yeah,
so,
a specific coworker.
A coworker.
Yes,
and that's bad. I should know.
Whoa, what?
I should know that's bad. I take fucking training sessions on that at least 5 times a year, as mandated by my company.
Wait, does everyone have to do that, or just you?
Yes, everyone has to do it.
Oh, okay, that's not so bad. Okay. But, like, it's really bad. They are specifically commenting on a coworker's body in such a denigrating way and pretty much putting her down because she doesn't have the attributes that they go for, and then talking about what they do go for, and then moving back to denigrating her more.
Or she does, but they won't, but they're pissed because she won't do nothing with their fucking rat asses, so.
Right, like they deserve access to her body in some way, shape, or form. Yeah, it's like, right off the bat, this movie's like, yeah, fuck decorum and fuck humanity. Let's go.
Exactly. Well, anyway, they think they find the area where there's a leak, and they can't really tell. My wife, as I said, she watched this with me. She made a great notion. Every time they fiddled with the knob on their instrument, that's when the readings would spike. And she's like, "Well, just stop playing with it, and they'll probably be fine." I'm like, okay. I mean, there's a point.
Also, they're in radiation suits that are not closed and taped down or sealed.
You're going to find out how they're not closed here in a second.
Right. No, but I mean,
you can clearly,
you can clearly see, like, if they're there for radiation and they're wearing radiation suits in such a way, they are doing it wrong because they're not sealed at all.
Yeah, exactly. So, they find a dead rat And then the rat comes alive, sneaks in one of the guy's suits and starts biting him, and blood spurting up everywhere. And the guy freaks out. Then we cut back to the scientists, checking their instruments. They're like, we have a leak. If we can't stop it, it's going to kill us all. So the older kind of head scientist takes a bunch of people out. They are kind of, inspecting everything. And then zombie guy pops up and bites one of the other guys, taking a good chunk out of his shoulder. That cuts to this main doctor now is apparently scientist. It's sometime later. He's the only one left. And alive. As he's running around, he sees like a guy who's been fully ripped open, and they're taking out organs and eating them and shit. And
all these effects are actually pretty decent, and it's a solid way to start your fucking apocalypse movie.
That's what I was saying. I'm like, all right, I'm in. Finally, a Mattei movie got me in right away.
Right.
That's awesome.
Like, anyone who starts this film could be fooled into thinking that just maybe this could be good.
Yes.
Just maybe this could be a good film. Clearly, cornball, because you got guys in radiation suits getting taken out by rats when they didn't even seal their radiation suit. And by the way, that fucking effect with the rat coming back to life and then attacking him, why was that not in Rats Nights of Terror, where one of them plays dead and then attacks the guy?
Right?
That would have been an awesome trick.
The rats are supposed to be totally smart, right?
Yeah. Like, why didn't they ever play dead, and why didn't they come up with that for Rats Nights of Terror? That would have been so fucking cool.
Maybe it's because Mattei hadn't seen it yet, so...
But he made the film.
I know, but he hadn't seen someone else make that film. So...
So much shade. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
What is someone going to do? Tell him?
Well, I mean, he's fucking dead, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, exactly. So the main scientist guy heads back to his office, and he makes a final recording that Project Sweet Death has failed, and it's going to be catastrophic. Just then he sees a ton of green smoke pouring into his office, so that can't be good. And then we cut to a building, and God, it seems like some movie that took place during the dawn had this exact kind of scene of a SWAT team surrounding a building, trying to talk people down. It's weird. Anyway, I think it happened at dawn, though. So
there are no charges against you.
Yeah, none. So they're trying to talk into some terrorists. Then this news crew comes right up on top, right in the middle of a hostage situation, demanding, questioning the guy who's trying to talk to the terrorists, and that seems not well timed. I'm all about freedom of the press, but that might be a little much.
Yeah, they're supposed to be annoying tabloid journalist types, yes.
So, just saying.
Oh, by the way, all that stuff that took place in the factory, that's all in what you are referring to as Guam.
Yes, I know that's Guam now. It was weird watching it at first, until you realize it, but it's still fucked. So anyway.
Okay.
The hostage takers, they want, all these what they call hope facilities shut down. And then they also get a TV brought to them so they can watch. Then we see special SWAT guys getting ready to go in, and we see the guys talking how they're going to be sent to Guam. I thought it was for a vacation, but apparently they had to do this job first before they could go to Guam. Everything's fucking weird. So anyway, but they go in. The terrorists are watching the news, and they also have this container of green stuff. It's really weird that you never see again. So it was almost like they were going to go someplace with this, and then they just really don't.
Yeah, that's Mattei. You have to get used to that weird,
He's holding that green stuff, and I'm like, oh, it's going to spill, and that's how it's going to end up on the mainland. But you never see it.
Like most of these films, they write a grand script. They get shit for financing that they won't be able to do 3/4 of the film that they wanted to do. They quickly rewrite it on the fly. They just start tearing pages out of the script, and then the connective tissue that should be there sometimes gets explained through expository dialogue, sometimes doesn't. And the jumping around stuff that we have in this movie is relatively minimal because they just basically limited it to one area and then hinted at it getting worse later. But it was always the same where they were going to go off, I guess, to the jungle because they just have to throw as much shit at you as they can with these kinds of films. So
exactly.
Yeah. I'm not trying to play devil's advocate here. I'm just trying to explain, this is how this happens repeatedly with Mattei's films.
I'm just talking to you about stuff that was brought up to me with, my wife watching the film. This is stuff I've come to understand from Mattei.
Right. Well, yeah. One of us has to be the voice of the people that are saying, why the fuck do you keep watching Mattei movies?
Yeah.
The other one
the answer to that is because Court really doesn't like me all that much.
That's part of it. The other part of it is Court wants to watch these because he also doesn't like himself very much.
All right, so anyway, the special teams, they get in, they kill all the terrorist bad guys. The lead terrorist leader is bleeding and says they're all gonna die horrible, painful deaths because of what's coming from these Hope facilities. Then that's when, right after that, we cut to the team is now in Guam, in the jungle. They're calling HQ, trying to get directions to someplace, and HQ just like, yeah, hold on, we're getting it. And he's like, all right, well, what's the directions? Nah, we're still grabbing them. I just imagine it's some guy like me smoking a cigarette, drinking out of a bottle of whiskey. Hold, please. Yeah, I'm totally not getting them that shit. These guys suck. Fuck these guys. What do they know? Anyway, that ends the first 20 minutes.
All right, I'm good. We talked about what we need to.
Yeah.
We're fine.
Well, anyway, so then we open up the next 20 minutes with 4 people and a young child. And the child's wounded, and they're pulling up to this small deserted town, and that's our first clip.
Damn it. That poor kid. The wound is still suppurating. The infection is spreading by the minute, and we didn't bring any medicine with us.
Perhaps in there we might find some water.
These bright ideas you get. Bringing a 7-year-old child through this filth. Only you could have thought of it.
There was absolutely no way anybody could have guessed the trouble we run into.
Dumb broad, the living image of a modern mother. You couldn't be so mean as to leave your little kid in a nice, safe school for a couple of weeks. Not her. Oh, no. Not to bring our boy along with us would be cruel. Doesn't matter if he's eaten up by mosquitoes or wounded by a native lunatic.
Oh, please, you're not going to begin that again.
Oh, no. I'm sorry. Naturally, the great Leo Rousseau can't be bothered listening to the complaints of a man who's upset about his boy. No, she's on a special mission. The idol of the TV audience who never gets enough violence and bloodshed.
You make things very easy. I'm going to go get some water.
Jesus Christ, man. We're just dropped right in the middle of that conversation like it's my mom and dad's 4th wedding anniversary and shit.
And you've just been wounded. What happened to him?
Yeah, this is Night of the Living Dead. They threw everyone in the house on Night of the Living Dead into a Jeep and just put them right here in the middle of this.
Yep. Well, the couple in the back, I don't even know if they're a couple as much as maybe they're just co-workers, but one of them's a cameraman, and they go out looking for water, and he's filming her, and just, it's all fucking, it's a lot of filler here. Anyway, the mom of the couple is still in the Jeep. She needs some air and she gets out. Well, the dad is holding the child and he falls asleep. Then we cut back to the army guys or SWAT guys and they see the buildings where our people are at right now. They're going to go check them out. Well, the mom, as she's looking through the room, she finds a priest with his back turned towards her. And she's walking towards him and turns around and he's, of course, a zombie. Not bad face makeup on this guy and good crazy look.
Yeah, I believe it was more the actor really selling it than anything else, because what made him so terrifying was his facial expressions and the crazy eye look that he was doing.
I agree. I thought it was great.
I think the makeup, while it was still cool, I think it wouldn't have looked anywhere near as great as if it wasn't for this actor's grimace. They really lucked out with this dude and they should have kept him around.
Yeah, they really should have made him more of a prominent zombie that lasted a lot longer.
Day of the Dead hadn't been made yet, so they couldn't rip that off.
They didn't know that that's what they needed. Yeah, you're right.
That is your joke. I admit that I've stolen it and repurposed it, but I think I delivered that well.
So you Mattei'd my joke. It's nice. It's nice.
No, I improved on it, so it's an homage.
So you made it competent.
Right. If you steal it and quote unquote improve on it and quote unquote elevate it, then you're Quentin Tarantino.
There you go. I'm sorry. You Tarantino'd my joke.
Right.
Although somehow you have to make it about feet and violence. So the couple, the dad is, and then we cut back to the dad asleep. The son dies. Then, of course, wakes up. He's a Z and gets this really mad, angry look on his face. The couple, then who are looking for water, they find all this gross green water, and they are just more than willing to get ready to drink it. But luckily, before they can, they see some zombies coming their way, and they at first think, oh, maybe they're just leopards or fucking weird people.
But you still shouldn't drink the water that a leper is, like, you know.
Yeah, and also a dead body comes out of it. So, but
yeah,
you shouldn't drink green water. I'm gonna, that's a life pro tip. I'm not like any sort of camper or outdoorsy man, but I know this. If the water's green, stay away. Don't drink it, because there's something going on with it, and you don't want to chance that.
Unless you're going to definitely die otherwise, then you can kind of risk it.
Yeah, I mean, maybe if you think it will kill you quicker than whatever you have is already doing, then, be my guest. I'm not going to tell you how to live your life.
Or choose to end it, I guess, is what you're getting at.
However you're going to do what you're going to do. But just as a suggestion, if you are relatively healthy and you want to stay that way, don't drink green water. So anyway, then we cut back to the buildings, and the mom comes out. She's holding her neck. She falls to the front of the car. We're almost like we're looking inside the car as Zombie Priest walks behind her. The couple then comes out, and they meet up with the SWAT guys who pull up. And they tell them, like, oh, we saw these horrible people, monsters, whatever, out in this area. So they send 2 guys to go check it out. Then the cameraman, he looks in the back of the Range Rover that they have, and he starts vomiting because they open up the door and there's baby boy eating dad. The army dudes.
Can we talk about the little kid zombie too, real quick?
Of course, go ahead.
All right, the makeup effects on him worked really, really well. The kid was like a little fucking Gage, basically. Like he really knew how to be fucking creepy. And the eating attack, well, you don't get to see a lot of it. What you do get to see is pretty fucking gruesome as well. And the way the actor reacts to it, and then the way that the overdub for the English dub for this does the reaction to it, really sells it quite well. This is one of the highlight moments of the film. Basically, all the zombie attack stuff is shockingly well done for Mattei.
Agreed. And I like the guy puking made the wife queasy. She was not a fan. But,
the gross factor on this is cranked up enough to where it makes it that much more enjoyable. The young court who watched the VHS version of this in college did not watch this for its quality of filmmaking, watched it for the gross out zombie action.
Yeah, like I said, you don't watch this for the story. It's not what you're here for, or the quality of the acting.
Right. Even when you get the film and you have no idea that Vincent Dawn is actually Bruno Mattei. You have no fucking clue. You're just here
to watch some gross shit. All right, you're just here to live your life.
Right. You are here to watch what is clearly an Italian film trying to be sold to you as an American-made film.
Yeah.
On a VHS tape in the 80s, and just have a good time.
Yeah, exactly.
That's exactly the point that this film should exist in. And if you try to look at it as anything more than just like, extra fodder on the video shelf, then you're going to be disappointed. But that's what these films are.
And now being confused because apparently the military guys are like, wow, this kid's eating his dad. Let's try to hold him. So one guy's holding him, and while the kid's attacking him or trying to, he's just kind of holding him away. But at the same time, you're kind of like, I mean, you just saw him eating his dad. What do you think? He's gonna be like, hey, thank God you're here.
Yeah, he all but did a bunch of kung fu after yelling pancakes. Get the fuck away from that kid. He's gonna bite you.
Yeah, exactly. Motherfucker, just leave that kid alone. He was in a car. He was perfectly and totally not even paying attention to you. Let the kid fucking eat his dad, and you go about your life.
Clip.
So, what?
Clip,
probably. So, the army dudes, they find some zombies, the ones who are looking, and they start shooting them. Pretty inefficient until one of them gets the idea and shoots one in the head, and then they start to realize, hey, there's a way to kill these guys. They head back, and while they're trying to kill the kid, one of the army guys comes up and goes, "No, you got to shoot him in the head," and blows the kid away. So that kills the kid zombie. So that's good. Weird thing is, you see all this danger around you. The one lady who's with the group, she decides to go looking for that mom character. She wants to find her. So that's apparently a friend, and she'll go alone with no weapons at all when there's proven to be gunshots and violence galore around here. So I mean, that's totes smart. Good thinking.
Clearly, you weren't a latchkey kid. We get it.
So she is in that school area, and the lady falls out of the ceiling somehow, and she's completely dead. Blood coming out of her. That, I didn't get how she would end up in the ceiling. Like, why would a zombie care?
I think she was still alive, crawled up into the ceiling to get away, and expired up there, but didn't come back.
That's an idea.
Also, it's just really fucking cool that a corpse falls out of the ceiling, so just go with it.
Anytime a corpse comes out of a ceiling, it's immediately over. It's over.
It's game over, man. Game over.
Yeah, game over. Then the zombie catches her, the zombie priest, but the army guys come in and shoot him and kill him. Then we cut to some news reports about disturbing acts of cannibalism, all that kind of, being reported out in the countryside. And a news guy, like probably the main news guy of the channel, he's talking to another guys that are working, and they talk about the lady and the camera guy who are out there. And like, we may be sitting on the biggest story ever. Maybe they can break it because they think it's about these hope centers. And the main guy is like, well, this might be the news story that ends the world. So, super.
Yeah, they're really, really throwing a lot of information at you, but it seems like the news crew knows more than what the actual guys that are here on the operation that they jokingly refer to as a vacation.
Because I don't think they know that the terrorists from that fucking hostage situation wanted those hope centers closed because they were saying that there's like bad stuff there. So
right, yeah, they just know that they're there to take care of the terrorists, but there's something else, and there's a reason why the terrorists are doing this, which we know because we saw it at the beginning. If you want to piece it together yourself, and the reporters apparently have all this information, but for some reason are not sharing it with the soldiers they're embedded with. That's what I'm getting with.
Yeah,
or are they soldiers, or are they international police because they're still dressed up like the SWAT team from
they're dressed like a SWAT team in baby blues in a jungle. It's fucking all right. So anyway,
they stole it from Dawn of the Dead. It's cool.
Yeah. The SWAT, they're going through the jungle. They're all driving the two separate jeeps at this point. They want to ditch the reporters as they'll cause trouble to their mission. They come to like an end of where like the trail, the like road they're on, and there's a brush there, and they're talking, and the head SWAT guy, he's like, we're not moving further. He goes, I don't like the sound of those drums. They make me nervous. And they're like, I don't want to end up as some tribe's dinner. The reporter later says that she will go ahead and find out what's going on. She knows these tribes real well. She spends a lot of time out here, and she knows how to, enter them and not, be hurt, and how she can talk to them. And,
there's no explanation as to how she's like this, why she knows these are...
just that she does know it.
Yeah, like she doesn't say anything about being an anthropological major or being embedded for something for National Geographic. They just say that she does, and we have to accept it.
Yes. And she does this by stripping down.
Thank you, movie.
Yeah, thank you, movie. And she starts entering the area with the tribal people, and she sees like a human skull.
Are you not going to comment on how she's all painted down while completely naked?
She is all painted down and only in leaves. So, yes.
Yeah, she's got a leaf thong.
Yeah.
Her nipples are painted with circles around them.
Her chest and her face is painted too. Yep.
Yeah, and the face, it kind of does like an infinity symbol across her nose. And the face paint changes. Sometimes it's brown and sometimes it's blue, depending upon which angle they shot it at.
Yeah.
On what day. The way that it's painted on the boobs is a little bit different. And then the leaf thing looks like it was falling apart in some of the scenes. And it's like a leaf thong. But I just wanted to state, this is this actress's first like big rake, like where she got.
Yeah, really?
Yeah, like she carries the movie. This is basically, she's the lead role, right? Pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
So she's super nervous going into doing this film to begin with, and then of course the nude scene on top of that, which wasn't the first thing that she shot or anything, but like this is her first fully nude scene. This is her first trying to carry a movie, and so she's like scared and nervous as shit, I'm sure. There's even of
course.
There's a thing that they're talking about where some of the scenes that are shot with her, you can actually see like the fatigue in her eyes because she couldn't sleep because of the fear. And it's like some of her earliest shots that are in the film too, which is strange because that would work out better for her towards the end of shooting. So maybe they should have just changed the shooting schedule, right?
But the end of shooting, it was probably when they did all the factory scenes and she didn't have to take her clothes off. So,
right. So maybe, I don't know if that was now. I don't know when the actual sequence was, but I know it wasn't the nude scene. It's just another thing I wanted to point out.
All right.
So thank you. Thank
then
you,
we get a
movie.
pretty gruesome scene. Some guys tearing up an alligator to eat it.
Yeah. So
Is that an alligator?
this is. I think it was. I'm not sure. I can't remember. It was some kind of
remnants
lizard.
of because
Cannibal.
that was real shit.
Yeah, Cannibal Holocaust kind of thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so what I was talking about, all the exploitation genres, here's your cannibal stuff because they go off into the jungle and you're seeing an animal ripped apart and eaten on screen. You know, it's just like they're going to do in the cannibal films. And then she goes, not necessarily infiltrates the tribe, but like introduces herself to the tribe. And some of these shots that you see of the tribe, like the dancing and some of the other ritualistic thing that you're about to describe, the footage looks different because it's actually from a documentary. So a lot of this stuff is like there's a real funeral sequence and shit in here that's coming up. So
yeah, a lot of this seems from documentary stuff about a real tribe,
right? And it was repurposed for this film, Ed Wood style. So let's go.
Yeah, so we see this, as we said, a dead body being prepared for a funeral.
That sequence where the person is wiping some kind of something, like that was on the corpse on themselves, like in their armpits and stuff. Did you see that?
Yeah. And people eating maggots out of skulls. It was,
Yeah, there was, I mean, it's obviously some type of ritualistic belief structure thing, the reason why they're doing this, but out of context, just showing it to you for shock value alone that's real low, right? I mean, that's pretty fucking bad, right?
Yeah, it was real bad. Anyway, getting through all that, let's just say she's accepted into the tribe.
But there's like there's funerary
20 minutes.
Okay, yeah, there's a bunch of funerary rites.
So we can go through that.
Yeah, there's a bunch of funerary rites. There's a bunch of like you said, them devouring an animal, which looked exactly like footage of them actually how they would eat. You know, like where they prepare the animal and everything. This is actual documentary footage, like the dance, the funerary stuff that we were seeing and we were talking about, and then they mix that in with shots where she comes in and they have like this mask dance thing where they tried to replicate the actual mask dance that was being performed by various shaman in the footage that's from an actual tribe in a documentary, which by the way, they also took music from the documentary and used it in the film too.
You could tell that. Yeah.
So that sequence is intercut with a sequence where she comes in to greet the tribe, and she actually stands there, and the shaman who's doing the dance takes off his mask, which is apparently something that the tribe that they were trying to mimic here would never do, because that means that it's a different person under the mask than when the mask is on after performing the shaman thing, and like he'll never be the same or something like that.
But in this one, it's to tell them because he gives her the mask, so it's supposed to be like them showing her that they trust her.
Right, like a way of saying that you are one of us or whatever, that trade thing, but that would never happen for this particular tribe apparently. So this is some of the most egregious exploitation I can think of. Like instead of racistly shooting your own footage, he cuts corners. And instead of stealing fake cannibal footage that someone else racistly shot, they just
take advantage of a native people.
Right. They just fucking grab documentary footage of actual funerary rites and various other things that are being performed, and then cut it down to its most out of context, salacious version of itself, just for your entertainment value and to cause additional shock. It seems rather egregious. The more I knew about this, the less I enjoy this part of the film, obviously.
I mean, it's pretty doing a documentary, a real documentary, is one thing, you know, because that can help people just learn about different people in the world.
And is the original intention of the footage that they recut.
It's to share knowledge. Yeah, this is just being salacious and exploitive. So,
well, and that is essentially where the cannibal films came from anyway, was these documentaries that were just like to be the most salacious and outrageous that they possibly could.
Not to actually teach, but to just be fucking gross
under the guise of it's a documentary, so I can get away with it. Like that's where the cannibal films came from. So doing it that way, it sort of makes some sort of like demented, psychotic, poetic justice, you know? But either way, it's still fucked and wrong, and it's something that we needed to talk about. And let's move into the next 20 minutes, and, you know, we've padded the movie out enough.
So anyway, the group meets up with her, and she tells them that they've been seeing many deaths within their tribe in the area, and that they were hoping that these guys are there to help them. So then we cut to the night. The dudes are all fucking high as fuck in a tent while they're celebrating with the tribe. But you can tell they are all out there.
Ayahuasca, maybe?
I think so. Something like that.
Were
It
they eating any kind of white paste or anything? Do you
It
remember?
doesn't show them doing anything. Just them being kind of just fucking nutty and like way out of it and sweating a lot. So
They were in the right state to finally understand everything David Lynch ever wrote.
yes, there you go. Exactly. Well, then we cut to the lady. She comes out to the SWAT leader, who's kind of just standing outside as kind of a sentry. And I don't know, he might not be the leader, actually. He's like the second in command. Well, they talk in our next clip.
Hi.
Hi.
Oh,
Don't you feel well?
never felt better, only I'm afraid I'm a little pie-eyed. Hey, would you do me a favor if I asked?
I suppose so.
Couldn't you stop acting in that formal manner of yours? I mean, do you have to be so military?
When a soldier is out on an important mission, he has no time for sentiment.
I wish to God I knew what's happening here. Why should nature suddenly start breaking its own laws? Why should the dead come back to life and walk around? Why should they start eating other humans? The sky, the water, everything seems contaminated. Then you arrive from nowhere, right? And I can't help wondering for what.
You're a journalist, looking for news. Our mission is confidential, for security reasons.
Top secret, is that it? The apocalypse is bearing down on us. The tombs are opening their doors. Dead men devour the living. And you're afraid to reveal your military secret. And yet perhaps the whole disaster is the result of one of those military secrets for national security. Perhaps it's related to those centers called Hope. Right?
I think they were trying to get philosophical there at the end.
Yeah.
But like real hackneyed.
Yeah, it was bad. Anyway, we see one of the Z's or one of the dead tribal people are up, like in a chair. Well, he's out and coming for him, and we see he's not the other one. A lot more Z's coming. And the group's still partying in the tent as the SWAT guy and the lady, they kind of fight him off, and they get inside the Jeep, and the Range Rover at least, sealing windows, to try to keep themselves covered. Well, the dead hit the tent and start chewing people up, and that just causes mass panic. SWAT guys are shooting their way out. We have lots of eating, lots of attacks. Chewing through hamstrings, chewing through arms. It's a good shit, chewing fingers off. It's pretty fucking good in this scene.
Yeah, this is definitely where they spent the bulk of the money, and they do reuse some of the attack footage rather well. You'll recognize that they're like some of the bites for fingers and stuff are like, just a different angle from the same shot.
Yeah.
They do that in a couple of the attack sequences in this film, but they throw so much at you like all at once that when they do repurpose some of the stuff, you don't really notice it as much. And them shooting it in the jungle makes it actually quite good to be able to repurpose a lot of the stuff, or they'll shoot like a neutral white background where they can literally throw it anywhere. And almost all the houses have white backgrounds to get away with that.
Yeah.
So like if they double up, which they do through a good portion of the film, it's not as noticeable unless you like really, really pay attention. And they even do the thing where they bring a zombie back even after they've been killed and then just hope you don't notice it's the exact same zombie.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, it's a really good fucking sequence.
Yeah,
I loved it.
This is definitely the originator where you get the most original portions of the footage where they do reuse people from this again later.
Yeah. But good shit all around. Everyone's having fun here. I mean, not if you're living in that situation, you're having not a lot of fun. So as the group drives away, the second in command tells the boss, he goes, "Hey, I think the reporter lady knows why we're here." Anyway, and then the boss says, well, we'll just have to find a way to get rid of them then. So, then the army Jeep breaks down. So then they decide they all have to take the Range Rover, and they start ditching all of the reporters' shit, including their film. Well, the camera guy gets all fucking pissy, and he gets knocked the fuck out right down to the ground. But the lady holds them all off with a gun. And she has the gun and, pointed at, the head of command, but she gets disarmed, and then one of the crazier SWAT guys points the gun that she had at her and notices and laughs it wasn't loaded. He even pulls the trigger and it clicks. It was never loaded. So they decide what they'll do is they'll just take the reporter and cameraman and they're just going to find the first town and drop them off in it.
Yeah, so they're still helping them out, but they're
still, I mean, they're not murderers apparently, but they're not going to deal with these people forever.
Yeah, well, they have to take them out apparently anyway, so they're dropping them off because they're pretty much sure they're going to die on their own anyway.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. Well, that night, the lady and the second in command, they have a talk and they flirt a little bit innocently. It's innocent enough, and they're kind of having fun, but Boss Man doesn't like it, knocks the guy out. He says he's supposed to be watching and looking out, and tells the lady that, hey, I'm going to have to get a little bit harder with you, and, all right, whatever.
Kind of rapey.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a little like, what's your fucking problem? They weren't doing anything, and he was still kind of watching out anyway. The next day driving, they come up again to another heavy wooded trail, and so they send 2 guys out to scout it out. Those 2 guys, they walk out and they see a lot of blood, and they see a hand laying there. Then they see a dead guy in a tree. Then one of the guys, he kind of looks off in the distance, he says, we gotta get the fuck out of here, and they run back, and as they run through the clearing back to the Range Rover, a lot of Z's follow them. The cameraman wants to film because he's fucking nuts apparently, and says he needs this footage, and he must be losing his head a little bit. One of the 2 SWAT guys sit back there and he's like, wow, that camera guy is fucking crazy. And he's like, and one of the other guys is like, well, you're just saying that because you're scared and probably pissing yourself. And so that guy took that personally. And he starts losing his mind a little bit. And he goes running out there like, hey, what are you guys doing? And like 2 other SWAT guys are like shooting the zombies, but they're not shooting their heads. He goes, you guys are wasting your time with that. And he blows one of their heads off. And then he kind of gets all their attention so that they can knock out, one of the SWAT guys knocks out camera guy, they drags him back to the Range Rover to get him in, and then crazy guy blows a head off and he heads back to the Range Rover, and we cut then to, they're driving back and they start listening to radio broadcasts, and more news is starting to get out in the country here about what's going on, death, and then we see the UN, which is very bare, and what's supposed to be the UN, very bare. The country rep is very much arguing about what people have done to his country and that they're murdering it. And there's a lot of arguments there. They have news about how you can kill them and how to, shoot them in the head. They also have news about how they're going to handle the situation and, sending out groups and marshals and all that shit. And that ends that 20 minutes.
All right. So the guy acting crazy and being all like woo woo and jumping around, that is very clearly influenced by Roger right before he says, we got this by the ass.
Pretty much. Yeah. Yeah. And he also says this a lot. Think you're going to get me? You want a wing? I'm not on the menu. You'll never get me. And it's like, well, that pretty much means they're going to get you.
Right. That's what they were doing there. And then there's a lot of Night of the Living Dead with the outbreak thing, but you can't really do the outbreak thing and people trying to be warned on the news without it being referenced back to Night of the Living Dead. You're just kind of fucked there.
That's almost a main part of zombie movies.
That everybody has to do it. Yeah.
And there always has to be like news or else your zombie movie, like, you think part of the thing that's supposed to help with the fear about zombie movies is that no one's coming to help you because this is too many places, this is everywhere, and there's no help coming. So I think that's what that's all supposed to be about. Or else if you just have a certain number of people at one location and that's the only location the zombie stuff's happening, well, people can come help. It's not so bad. Just get a communication out there. But if it's, well, this is everywhere and you're on your fucking own, that amps up that fear. So
yeah, and everybody always has to try for that because that is essentially, if it was just the farmhouse and then one cemetery, you would think even in the original Night of the Living Dead, well, everything's going to be fine. But no, they're here at this farmhouse because it is happening everywhere and there's nowhere to go.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, but that's part of it.
Right. So that's really not a big deal. But
that's not being, because like even Shaun of the Dead used news. That's
right.
That's just a staple of zombie movies.
Right.
So,
but the Roger like thing right before Roger gets attacked, like the way that this guy is acting, he's like totally pulling off Roger.
He's pulling off Roger, like, because you do have to have like the crazy guy too. You have to have.
No, you don't have to have the crazy guy. You just
not that. not that he's like, I guess the crazy part, you have to have the guy that kind of loses it. Now, he doesn't have to be as animated. Like, that's where they stole Roger from. You doesn't need to be animated, but you always have to have the guy who loses it in the situation.
Yeah, but Roger's the original guy that lost it in this situation.
I guess, but doing something also that gets him very, Roger got bit once and he turned, but doing something that gets you like fucking torn the fuck to shreds because you're fucking losing it, So I don't know, because it's kind of like reminds me of the guy in Day of the Dead.
Right,
fucking loses it,
right, but that can't be possible because Day of the Dead hadn't been made yet, so he hasn't stolen from that yet.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm just saying, almost every zombie movie has at least one character who the pressure gets too much for and does something that gets them very fucking murdered.
Right, and this guy also had his manhood insulted, so he's like trying to show off and prove that he's not a coward now, which is fucked as well. Okay, let's move on to the next 20.
All right. So the next 20, the group finds a house, and they split up to go looking through it. One dude goes downstairs, and he finds like the wardrobe area, and of course, he does the smart thing and puts all his guns down and starts getting dressed up. Then we see the leader, he goes upstairs, and he finds an old woman in a rocking chair, and when he turns around, she's obviously dead, and he hears something hissing, and we see a cat crawls out of her stomach.
That was a really gruesome fucking effect. They did that really well.
We're like, ooh, man, that is grody. So anyway, the woman gets up and attacks him, kind of pushes him down. So, and then we cut away again to the dude in the wardrobe, and as he goes into this next room, all he has is cane and stuff. He's prancing around. He is surrounded and attacked by a bunch of zombies.
Oh, that prancing around, he's actually reenacting Singing in the Rain, I think.
Oh, is he? Nice.
Or at least trying to. Yeah, he's doing a little bit of Gene Kelly, I think.
The guys hear him scream, and then we cut back up to the leader, and he shoots the old woman in the head. The guys hear him scream, and then they find him getting torn apart by zombies. Well, they freak out, and it's the three guys, cameraman and two other soldiers, and they start shooting at that. Well, then the lady looks around, and zombies are all over the windows. They're surrounding the house. She's trying to close everything. Then they come through the glass and grab her and start dragging her out. Leader guy comes down, and he saves her. And they get away, but there's just too many of them. And the guys in the cellar and the wardrobe, they leave, they come up, they're trying to hold them off. It looks like cameraman's about ready to get fucking torn apart, but crazy guy makes a torch and starts, waving around so all the zombies are only paying attention to him. The rest escape, get back into the car. He comes out, waves them off, grabs the guns, and they get back into the car. So he grabbed the guns that the guy had put down, thinking smart. And as they drive, one of the zombies, apparently they all forgot how to, they totally forgot to, lock the fucking doors because the zombie just crawls right in. They're able to shoot him and push him out, but then the car stalls. They get surrounded. You have that whole epic fucking thing, and, everything's fucking nerve-wracked, but the car gets started. They get out of there. And
that was a good sequence. They really built the tension really well.
And going through it, what I just said didn't take 20 minutes, but that was a whole 20-minute sequence in the house. And it was really fucking good. And it went quick. I was surprised when I reached my 20-minute, because like you said, I liked that whole sequence a lot. It was really fucking nerve-wracking to be certain. And I thought the zombies looked great. I thought they acted really well. The people they had, I thought it did really well.
Yeah, this was a really interesting sequence, and I wonder which of the two directors did it.
Yeah, right? Not Mattei.
Yeah, but it can't be Fragasso because he's so much worse.
Oh, yeah, I don't know then. It's fucking weird.
Yeah.
But I thought this was a good scene. This is good stuff.
Yeah, this most recent 20 minutes that we just wrapped up was pretty fucking awesome.
Yeah. So, and like I said, it's amazing. It doesn't seem like what I just said would take 20 minutes, but it did. Because there's a lot of nuance in here, too. A lot of searching around, a lot of just in there, a lot of things that, just build up tensions, so.
Which reminded me of earlier Resident Evil games when you're running around the houses just in the old abandoned buildings just looking for things, and then you kind of run into zombies here and there. Like, it had that same kind of feeling that you got.
Yeah.
Like, I really feel like Resident Evil may have been influenced by these types of sequences. Maybe not this one specifically, but I feel it in this sequence.
Yeah, it was good stuff.
Yeah, shockingly so. Like, I don't know who did this, but if it's Fragasso, then maybe I owe him an apology maybe he did make a good film that wasn't Troll 2.
Yeah. Well, we come into our final 20 minutes, and they drive up and they stop, and it's kind of a small bullshit clip, but it at least tells you what their plan is, and then that is our next clip.
There's the river.
Yeah, that's it. Means we're near the end of this damn trip. But we gotta follow it all the way down to the mouth.
Once we reach it, we'll take the boat. We'll have a fairly good chance of completing our mission.
What about the reporters?
We have to take them with us. Unfortunately, we can't leave them behind. That would be murder. They'd never survive.
Look at those bushes. They're full of those friggin' monsters.
Come on. Let's get moving.
That guy did a face turn real fucking fast.
Yeah, he turned face. Well, he never wanted him dead anyway. He just wanted to drop him off in a town, though. He just didn't want him there. Unfortunately, now there are no more. I think he's realizing there's no more towns to drop people off in.
Yeah, there's no safe location is basically what he's saying in this clip. There's no place that they're going to be able to leave them, so they're going to have to come with them.
Exactly. So that's just how that one goes. Sorry, everyone, but this is just how it is.
Yeah, your apocalypse may vary.
Yes. So they drive through the dead. They find this little boat, and they get on it. I'm almost 100% sure this was supposed to be a lot bigger of a boat, but budget probably fucking killed that.
They need a bigger helicopter, Matt.
Yeah, something. I mean, it was not the kind of boat where you're going to make a long trip like they supposedly made. But they make this trip, and they end up at the facility from the start of the movie. They start looking around. They're checking into things. They know where they need to get up to the main offices. They walk around. They find where the main elevator is. They hear something, and they all look away from the elevator. And as they're looking away, the elevator opens, full of zombies. Hi, Don. And they grab the cameraman. They drag him in. The cameraman's being torn apart. At this point, the crazier army guy, he's like, no, you're not going to get him, and you're not going to get me. But he gets grabbed and dragged up as the elevator goes up. This is bad. They're all looking up, and the blood just splatters, like, onto her face and stuff from this, so that's bad, and they run. Then the main leader,
I fucking love this sequence, man. The back third of this film is fucking awesome.
It is. Then they're running through tons of dead bodies just laying around. The leader's tripped and bitten on the neck by a zombie. He says he needs to still complete this mission, so he rolls up there, he gets in the office, starts destroying evidence and shit as he's bleeding and dying. You can tell they're turning him green or gray. Then, our next clip is the ladies kind of commenting what she knows and what they find. Throughout all of this, we see hordes of zombies walking through the facility, and this is our final clip.
All these high-powered installations, like a factory from a future world, safely hidden. On an island, isolated and remote. It all begins to make sense. Now I can piece together the whole puzzle.
What are you talking about?
They were called Hope. They were centers of chemical research for the good of mankind. To help countries that are still underdeveloped. That was the cover. The official story. While the reality was terrible, unbelievable, they were working on a solution to the problem that most torments the industrialized countries. The overpopulation of the world. Dispose of the weak elements, the most defenseless, the most numerous in the simplest possible way. Just cause them all to eat each other.
Jesus.
So, after all this, the two are surrounded by the dead, led by the crazy guy and the leader zombies there.
Hello, Don.
Yeah, right? And in the fun way here, she screams, a zombie head goes into her mouth, tears out her tongue, then goes right back in, pretty much fists her head, and her eyeballs pop out, blood everywhere, and it is fucking gory.
Yeah, it's pretty gross.
Yeah, so, good job. Anyway... I mean, come on.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was pretty fucking cool.
So now, they're all dead, because the guy also got grabbed. but you don't see his death, but you assume, he's surrounded. And throughout this whole entire movie, they're all having some significant problems trying to, fucking shoot him in the head. So it's like they keep forgetting that that's what they need to do.
There's also some resistance because of the way that the blanks were loaded over in Italy. There's an actor named David Warbeck that talks about that. The reason why he refused to shoot people in the head was because of the blanks, and firing them at someone's head, it could have really hurt them. It was extremely dangerous, and you're not supposed to do that, which is why they don't have you do it all in one shot most of the time. So there is some risk involved even in doing blanks.
I see.
Yeah.
Well, that makes sense then. Well, then I guess I'm the asshole.
Well, it's rough and tumble, but in a lot of cases, the actors are not shooting at the other actor's head out of respect from the possible chance that they could hurt them.
Yeah.
That's why whenever you get a lot of headshots, you see the gun shoot and then it cuts to the zombie and then the shot, which we'd all be fine with if you wanted to do that. It's so much safer.
I would be fine with that for the safety measure of it all.
Right. So I'm just saying.
Yeah, I got you.
That's why you never see the headshots in the same all-in-one shot frame like that.
All right. Well, then we cut back to what would be civilization, I guess. And we see a guy who's talking about how, he had a cadaver on his table, all 4 limbs removed, and the cadaver woke up and started biting at people. And some people are watching this in a bar, and this couple are like, this is fairy tales, and the guy and the girl leave. They start making out, but she's like, I don't want to do that with you right now yet. And he's like, and he's acting all pissed off because he's being a dick. Anyway, she sees the guy sitting there and she's like, I think I'll get her light my cigarette from him because the guy won't light her cigarette. And he's like, I'm going to bother him. And she goes, you don't have anything. She goes, sir. And the guy turns around and it's actually just a dead body. Then she's grabbed by some zombies and they start chewing her up. Her boyfriend's just standing there dumbfounded looking at it before he can realize a group of zombies come up behind him. He gets torn apart. They eat him. Roll credits.
Okay, so in another movie, we see where it spreads to the rest of the world, and this is pretty much them trying to do what they did at the end of Lucio Fulci's Zombie, which was essentially a fake sequel to Dawn of the Dead when it was called Zombie 2.
Yeah.
Okay. Once again, Mattei snagging a little something from somebody else, but this ending sequence was actually pretty freaking cool. I think we could have used some kind of title card to say that, where it's going. Like, we're here now. They're somewhere in the world that's not Guam, dealing with some type of police action that looks very much like a SWAT team, but it's also in what appears to be like an America or, North American continental type location, or maybe Europe, and then all of a sudden they're getting shipped off to Guam, but they're SWAT police. But are they international police? Now they're like a military unit wearing the same SWAT outfit with the same embedded reporters that know everything that's happening before they do.
Yeah. Interesting.
Right. So like you can kind of follow what they're trying to do story-wise.
But I mean, like I said, they jump around a lot.
Right. But like this is like the 5th or 6th time that I've watched it, Matt. That's how I'm piecing it all together. I promise you, I never paid that close attention to anything having to do with the story any other time I watched this film, other than what crazy shit am I going to see next? Because that's what Hell of the Living Dead really is all about. But if you take the time and you put in the work of all of the Mattei films, there is as cohesive a story as you could expect. I think I threw in enough qualifiers to make that true.
Yeah, I think so. You did well there.
But like, this is probably his finest made film we've done so far. I mean, it's the most coherent. It has the most straightforward of a story for the most part. It goes all over the place and does so many different genres and blends them together fairly well. Probably about the best we've seen him do thus far. Like the Zombie 3 that he finished up for Fulci after he died. I think it's probably a close second.
Probably.
To this one. But,
Was that the one with the DJ?
Yeah, the DJ, and then the zombie that was the advanced tool user, crazy, like, machete attack and stuff that was definitely more Fulci. But yeah, this is probably like the most coherent and the most well-made, and then whatever was wrong with Zombie 3 could even probably be blamed on Fulci if you felt like it, because he loved to not follow story. He loved to just throw stuff at you and see what stuck. You know, I will freely admit that, and I fucking love it that he did that. But you know, this is like probably Mattei's finest work so far that we have seen, and
I think so.
I don't think we're gonna top this one.
No, I think this is going to be about as best as we're ever going to get from him.
There's only one way to know for sure, though, Matt.
It's to watch them all. I know, you fucking asshole.
We will find this man's finest work and celebrate it.
I think we just did. Why aren't we celebrating this?
I am. I really enjoy this film. I rather like Hell of the Living Dead, or as I originally saw it, I think it was Revenge of the Zombies or Night of the Zombies, one of the two. It was like the same company, Creature Features, I think they were called. They released like Gates of Hell, which we now know as City of the Living Dead. Gates of Hell, this film, I think they released it as Night of the Zombies or Revenge of the Zombies, one of the two. And then there was another zombie film. I can't remember off the top of my head which one it was. But maybe not Lucio Fulci's Zombie, but like all three of them had the same zombie head in some way, shape, or form, just modified slightly to be like their main zombie. Like the poster of this one is that zombie's head.
I saw one that was called City of the Dead. It had that same zombie head.
Okay, well, City of the Living Dead is the Gates of Hell as it was released here in the United States.
Yeah.
And that zombie head was used in that poster for the Gates of Hell version over here.
I've seen that on your fucking in your collection.
Right. That's how you first saw it, as a Gates of Hell from my Anchor Bay DVD, I think, way back when.
Yeah.
And you ain't seen nothing till you've seen that ocular penetration in HD, baby.
That's goddamn right.
But anyway, so this was one of those films, and for a while I would just buy that cover, like whatever, if that had that zombie head on it, and then eventually I saw that it was the same company, which I think was called Creature Features. Like I knew that VHS was gonna be fun in some way, shape, or form, and that's how I bought Revenge of the Zombies / Night of the Zombies back then, that I still love to this day. It's such a fun, weird, twisted fucking movie that doesn't even bother to try and make sense, and you have to come up with your own story. And if you start here for Mattei, it's pretty much all downhill for what we've watched so far, with a few shining moments here and there. But like what we've got so far is we are ending a series of Mattei with what we will both wholeheartedly agree and call the best Mattei film we have watched.
Yes, this is definitely the better thing we have ever seen from Mattei. That is a fact.
So I now submit to you, Matt, that our Mattei special rating is on a sliding scale from this point forth, where Hell of the Living Dead is said scale. So if it's exactly a Hell of a Living Dead, that means you feel it is about as good as Hell of the Living Dead. If it is if it's a like 0.5, so it's about half the movie Hell of the Living Dead is. If you think it's better, then it becomes 2.5. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a 2.5 scale kind of deal. So that's your rating scale. Instead of stars, you give it Hell of the Living Dead. So we're anchoring this relative to Hell of the Living Dead, because that way you know how much you enjoyed Hell of the Living Dead, everyone that watches this. So now we don't have to try and explain how good or bad it is. We can just give you a sliding scale where you have a point of focus that you can fit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I think everyone gets it.
Yeah.
Everyone gets it. Get it? Good.
Yeah. We're all calibrated now. This film is exactly a Hell of the Living Dead, Matt.
It is. This is exactly Hell of the Living Dead. This is exactly where we should be at for Hell of the Living Dead.
Okay, so on this scale, how would you rate Rats Night of Terror?
That is 1.5.
Wait, so 1.5, like you mean in the negative side, right?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Negative side, 1.5.
Yeah, so it's for me, I would say it's about half a Hell of the Living Dead. So it's like a half a star.
Yeah. Yeah, it's got to be something like that. Yeah.
I enjoy Rats Night of Terror about half as much. So there you go. It's a half.
It's a half.
Uh-huh.
There you go.
Cruel Jaws?
What? Cool Jaws. Oof. That's a full City of the Dead negative.
A whole one negative.
A whole one. That is as much as I like City of the Dead, I disliked Cruel Jaws.
All right, so I'm going to say I'm at about a 0.75 enjoyment. So we're going to confuse the audience even more on how much they can or cannot enjoy it.
They're all going to have to start doing math. Suckers.
You got to think of this as par, Matt. It's under par.
Yeah, okay.
Or over par.
Well, but negative par, is good.
Yeah, so you're saying it's 1 over par.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Cruel Jaws?
Yeah.
Cruel Jaws is, let's say, all right, maybe we should do a scoring a different way. Let's say.
No, I love how confusing this is for you. I'm having fun. I'm such a sadistic prick.
Let's set City of the Dead at a par 3. All right. And so you get par because it's City of the Dead. It's great.
Uh-huh. Yeah, it's 5.
Cruel Jaws.
It's 5 stars. Yeah.
Cruel Jaws, you just did a double bogey.
Okay, now I'm confused because I don't know golf.
See? Not so funny anymore, is it?
Who the fuck is on first, Matt?
I don't know, but what's on second?
Yeah, so, okay, we'll go break it into fourths, all right? So...
We started with one thing, we're all the way...
Mattei has us both so fucking punch drunk on a Monday night.
I just love we keep going. We've both come up with 5 different rating systems,
which are infinitely more enjoyable than watching the movies.
Yeah. Why don't we just do a whole show about different rating systems towards Mattei films?
We just argue on how to best gauge what is good and bad Mattei when it's all just bad and somewhat more enjoyable.
We're gonna end up with basketball rules. No. See, the sick burnout. That's City of the Living Dead. Or Hell of the Living Dead.
All right, we can just do some fucking PSYOP news.
All right.
Are you having trouble keeping up with the ebbs and flows of modern geekery? Is the real world holding you back from knowing what is happening in the geeky world? To answer these and other personal problems brought in by your friends, gaming group, and loved ones, Geek Radio Daily presents daily informational sessions brought to you by the wonderful Billy Flynn, the Flynnstress, and podcasting's Rich Sigfred. They contain such helpful segments as history, geek birthdays, box office results, the latest in DVD and Blu-ray, video game and comic releases. Why, they also have a Sweekly show hosted by the wonderful Billy Flynn and the Flynnstress, which includes interviews and commentary. And to make sure you are informed, Geek Radio Daily also provides you with your daily dose of geek news to make sure you know more than that jerk know-it-all Steve. Visit us at geekradiodaily.com. That's right, Geek Radio Daily. All the geek without the weight. Now available in fine Corinthian leather.
Fuck yeah. That is one of the only songs that was actually composed for the actual film on the soundtrack, man.
Nice.
Yeah. And it's really fucking cool. They should have just thrown all the money they wanted to at this guy. He did a great job.
It's like, you did all right, man. I don't know why they're bullshitting you like this.
Because Goblin was a name and they wanted to be able to say that they had Goblin on the soundtrack. Just like we want to be able to say, give me some PSYOP news.
older one that I found, but it never made into the announcements. But it's from Darren.
Oh, that's our boy Darren from the Psychosemantic podcast, our political affiliate, if you will.
Yes. This news has been making the gambit. I don't think we ever reported on it, but it's been out for a while.
This is like Traces of Death fucked to porno.
Not that one. Bisexual pastor turned stripper blesses the world with her sacred sexuality through OnlyFans.
That or they just had a bukkake mouth party. Ooh, poorly timed.
I mean, you don't know.
Afraid of vaginas?
A bisexual pastor and mother of 3 has traded the pulpit for the pole to become an erotic dancer on OnlyFans. And for her, it feels every bit as holy.
A girl gets terrified enough, the only thing that's going to solve that is a cock.
Nicole Mitchell, 36, grew up in a strict Baptist family with strong stereotypical gender roles.
I got Botox in my scrotum.
Okay. She was expected to be quiet, reserved, and sweet, and be a carer as an entertainer was totally out of the question.
I spilled pee all over the place, but I cleaned it up. I don't know what they got a problem with.
Yeah, I don't know either. From a young age, she states she had fantasized about being a stripper. If I would have read that the way it was quoted, that would have been clipped for days. Mitchell told the New York Post. She also says that she was indoctrinated to believe that her desires and her body were innately sinful and bad. Yeah, I wasn't reading that the way it was quoted.
Hey,
Everyone
fuckers, religion's bullshit, God's not real. Hey, fuckers, religion's bullshit, God's not real.
Praying to God, that's what assholes do.
Goddamn.
If you pray, you're an asshole.
I'm just going to say this. When I die, if I end up at the pearly gates and they go, well, let's go over some things, I'm pretty sure that's going to play on loop.
So we're going to be pushing the Christian agenda right down your fucking throat.
Pretty much. So she says she was taught that women aren't allowed to lead and that women belong in the kitchen and with the children. So even though it went against everything she was told, she decided to become a pastor because a pastor.
A pasta? Afraid of vaginas?
A pastor because of her love for performing.
Hey, bro, I can't get it up.
It goes without saying that the possibility of being anything other than straight wasn't really an option in their family, and she herself never considered her sexuality till 2016, when she attended an LGBTQ
Let's jacket or something.
Theater performance. It was a revelation to her.
Finger bang a girl with a corpse hand?
She believes she came to the realization that she didn't think she was straight, and it rocked her world. She stated that she knew if that she had revealed that her queerness, she would lose everything because the church would not be welcoming of queer people. There's the pastor struggled to keep her sexuality a secret. She felt as if she was living a very double life. And she knew it could continue, so on July 4th, 2017, she gave her last sermon at the church and simply walked away without looking back. She just said she just never showed up again. A few months later, Mitchell came out publicly as queer in a confessional YouTube video. It was a huge step, and as she faced the prospect of starting anew, she decided to hire a life coach to guide her. She started following her life coach's wife on Instagram, who was doing lingerie modeling, and she was kind of triggered by it, and she said she was like very drawn to it. So then, after years of repression, the picture sparked something within her, and that she knew she was keen to explore further. She signed up for a class called Sexpress U.
The loving three-way with a corpse?
That's not what that is, Court.
I was trying to be somewhat respectful of her newfound self.
Yeah.
By remaining silent for a good portion of that, and then I realized that no one wants me to be respectful of anyone. They just want clips of you saying horrible things.
Yeah,
I have a raging erection.
Well, yes, both of us, but mostly you.
What's with all that asshole cream?
What is with all that asshole cream, though?
All kinds of things you don't want on your dick.
Well, how dare you make assumptions about things that I want?
Blood jizz.
That's one thing you want.
That's terrible. I would never want that.
Blood jizz.
That's what I have. It's not what I want.
Oh, my cum has the cure for cancer.
Jesus. I mean, we don't know that it doesn't.
OMG, a jizz drinking game.
Anyway, This Sex vs. You gave her the confidence boost she needed to book her first nude photo shoot. She said she cried because she had never felt more holy and sacred in all her life. She had never felt more sexy and liberated than she did then. Mitchell turned that feeling into a career and is now able to earn a good living selling explicit photos and videos on OnlyFans. On top of all this, she's also a life coach and offers courses such as how to unfuck yourself, teaching others on how to be their true self. So, I mean, she says she now identifies as bisexual and pansexual and has never been happier. She says every person has the right to express themselves in whatever way feels good to them, and this is how it feels good to her. She says that her sexuality is incredibly healing and sacred, and when she gives this gift to people, it blesses them. So, there you go. It's a nice story.
I don't want a Jesus freak making porn for me, though. That's just not my fetish.
Really? I'm like, really?
That's my fetish.
I would have thought that would have been it.
As long as they don't, try and sermonize me while they're, doing whatever, maybe.
I don't think that's what she's about.
Yeah, but like the Jesus-y talk that she's doing in the article, like it's a serious boner killer for me, man. Like you talk like that and it's done.
Well, but I don't think she talks like that to you during the moment.
I would certainly hope not, because it would just totally be,
hey, bro, I can't get it up
for that at all.
I still think you probably could.
I mean, maybe if you turn around about how sinful this is and it's awful and it's wrong and we shouldn't be doing this, then, maybe.
I don't think she feels that way, though.
Right. But, like, if you're going to play it up, then maybe. But otherwise, no.
Oh, I got you. You're like, yeah, come on. Tell me. Yeah, okay. Yeah, all right. I get you. All right.
Right. No, I am completely happy for this woman that she's found sexual liberation, but that's not how Christianity fucking works. And eventually she's going to realize that whatever she's on is not whatever Christians consider Christianity.
Whatever
really.
She's about, admit.
Yeah.
Yeah. What is it? Seems strange and scary to them.
Right. I mean, whatever she's doing that makes her happy is totally fine. And if she still needs faith that makes her happy, then that's fine as well. But like the two do not reconcile as well as she feels they do.
Yeah.
Is all I'm saying. And the fault is not with her newfound sexuality or her newfound self-freedom and just, liberation from whatever feeling that she has. But like full-fledged Christianity and everything that she was just talking about do not really go well together.
I mean, not the way some people have taught it.
Right. And I'm, again, truly, truly happy for her, but that's not how that works. It's not how any of that works.
It's not how this works. It's not how any of this works. Yeah, probably not. It's a goddamn mess out there. And everyone's just doing what they can to get fucking through it.
Yeah, no, again, I'm happy for her. I truly am, but that's not how Christianity works, unfortunately.
Never has been, never will be, unfortunately. You're right on that.
Well,
anyway.
All religion is essentially created in some way, shape, or form to control what women do with their bodies.
Hey, that's fucking scaringly accurate. How dare you?
More so than men, because men have so many fewer rules against what they can and can't do in these books because they were the ones that wrote them.
Hey, listen, again, I don't see why we gotta get all fucking exact on everything here.
I was trying to be a little bit more civil about it than what I'm capable of doing, so I'm just gonna fucking say it.
How dare you fucking speak silly truths.
Whatever, I'm trying to pad out the episode with false controversy. It's a hot take, Matt. I'm even looking confused in the camera and my eyebrows are going all weird with my fucking bow tie when I say them.
Hey, you all right over there? Because
my ketones are wearing off and I'm getting cranky. It's time to put me to bed.
Yeah, I got a bad feeling that you need some quiet time, Big Shoots.
If you enjoyed this show, then make sure you check out the other great shows on the Legion Podcast Network, like Cinema PSYOPS, Cinema Beef, Devour the Podcast, Duncan and Bo Come Correct, Exploding Heads Horror Movie Podcast, Friday the 13th, Get Slayed, The Helming Power Hour, Hello, This is the Doom Show, Hero Hero Go Show, Kill the Cast, Underwater Kaiju from Outer Space, Jerry Hates Action, Legion After Dark, Mental Health, Obsessive Cinema, Discourse, Pick 6 Movies, the podcast by The Cemetery, the podcast on Haunted Hill, the Psychosemantic Podcast, Rick Radio, House of Wax, Dude Looks Like the 80s, Rabbit and Red Radio, The Shadecast, Short Bus Cinema, Two Drink Minimum Commentaries, The VD Clinic, Who Will Survive Horror Podcast, and Witch vs. the Doomsday Clock. With such a wide spread of shows, there is guaranteed to be a niche for you to fall in love with. Horror, politics, movies, books, sex, music, commentaries, health, video games, kaiju, action, news, comedy, and opinions that would most likely get you killed in some parts of the world. We are proud to bring you some of the best podcasting in the world. Check us out at www.legionpodcast.com, iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, YouTube, and any other dark corner of the internet where podcasts can be found.
All right, you obviously know where that song originally came from. You can tell. It's not hard to be able to tell.
No, that's Dawn.
Yeah, that totally came from Dawn.
Yeah. That's Dawn. That's Dawn.
But I really like the way that they repurposed it in this film. I liked how they used it. And if you've watched horror films that are way, way older, I mean, how many times was Swan Lake reused in Universal horror films? How many times from The Creature from the Black Lagoon hit on that theme music was reused elsewhere in Universal monster movies and sci-fi movies and shit? I mean, you get used to that kind of stuff. Like, look at the fucking Wilhelm scream, right?
Yeah.
We can give the movie shit for stealing soundtracks, but let's not pretend like they're the only one.
Yeah, no, they're definitely not. That's been done forever.
And there was plenty of other egregious things that you can hold the filmmakers accountable for, including the reuse of the documentary footage the way that they did.
Yeah, no, yeah, exactly. See, it's not... There's a ton worse shit that happened than what they did.
If you'd like to find other instances where Matt and I begin reviewing the film once again right before we close out the show, the other 292 possible instances of that happening are available at legionpodcast.com/cinema-psyops. You can also call us out on shit like that in our Facebook group, where you have to be extremely careful what you posted 5 fucking years ago for some goddamn reason, or else you get zucked.
Yeah, man, they're coming for you.
That's our Cinema Psyops Facebook group that I am currently bitching about, and I'm sorry about this, folks. We're still trying to make it as much fun as we can in there, but, I mean, we're getting zooked.
They're coming for you, Barbara.
You violated their community standards. They're very cross with you, Barbara. If you'd like to get a little cross with me on Facebook over my bad impersonation that was prompted by Matt's even worse, I'm available on Facebook as Court Psyops. You can go at Matt there as Matt Psyop. You can go super old school and email us feedback. Matt is psyopmatt@gmail.com. I am Cinema Psyops Court at gmail.com. We're both available there via the second oldest form of communication that we currently will communicate with you on.
What's the first oldest?
Voice messaging, I guess.
I guess you could send a voice message to us. Yeah, that's right. So
you could also twit a couple of tweets to a couple of really confused old twats on the hate-filled shitfest that has been reformed into pornbot heaven, known as Twitter. I'm at @court_psyop there, and he is at Psyop Matt. We're also available in your Snap-O-Matic style Instagram form, cinema_psyops there. That is the page that I run for all of our repurposed memes and for your viewing pleasure.
All them memes. We want the memes. No, I thought you were going to go right on top of me there.
Clip. Well, while you're out there making clips for all of us to laugh at for the next 6 or so years, kick the fuck out of this weekend, baby.
Hello?
Hey, you hear me?
Yep, I hear you. You hear me?
Yes. Otherwise, I wouldn't have said, hey, you hear me.
I don't know what's going on with you. Sometimes I think that's just what you say instead of hi.
Sometimes that is what I just say instead of hi.
So there you go.
Look, I'm trying to be real cordial and real civil with you because you finally made right by me.
Oh, yeah, I did. I made right by you.
I think literally all you needed was someone just to remind you that you needed to do something. Because otherwise, like, there's a while where my anxiety was telling me, no, he just has no fucking respect for you. That's all this is.
Oh, shit. Yeah, no, I literally just didn't remember. As soon as you just sent me the reminder, I went, oh, yeah. And then I've been PayPal'd it to you.
I actually sent you a payment request from PayPal because it was like, there's only one way that this is.
That's how I remembered. I was like, oh fuck yeah, I gotta pay fucking court. Jesus Christ, what's wrong with you? There you go. My bad. I totally forgot. See, it's not that I have disrespect for anybody. I have a shit memory.
Like 4 years now that you've had that recorder, or 3?
Yeah, something, man. I've had a real bad memory though.
Yeah.
And I can't even blame it on booze. That's the really bad part. I've had that since I was little.
Wow, that's just I don't know how you live like that. I truly don't.
It's fucking horrendous. and yeah, you should see my desk usually at work. Lots of Post-it notes.
Did you remember to record yet?
Oh, no. See? I need it. 1, 2, 3. There we go. I'm recording now.
And that waveform looks good, right?
Yeah, everything looks good.
Cool. Just wanted to make sure because it happened once and I'm always going to double check now.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. No, all coming through the blue snowball.
Yeah. All right. So don't spoil it. Don't say anything other than how does it feel to finally be done with March Mattei as of the recording of this episode?
Feels real good, man. Feels real good.
All right. Well, let's start episode 293. Can you believe it? 293.
293. That's fucking amazing. We're still grabbing them. I just imagine it's some guy like me smoking a cigarette, drinking out of a bottle of whiskey. Hold, please. Yeah, I'm totally not getting them that shit. These guys suck. Fuck these guys. What do they know?
And in case anybody's wondering, I have actually seen Matt work in that capacity when we were both inbound representatives for various jobs, because inbound call shit is huge in this town still.
It is. And I was really fed up and done with that job, so it was I was on my way out. And,
but you're describing something that actually was you at your job pretty goddamn well.
And it'd be like, yeah, hold on, this guy's an asshole. Hold on, watch this. Unmute. Yeah, I'm still looking. Those directions, man, they're really hard to find. Somebody's supposed to get them to me, and they're being real lazy right now. And then remute.
I'm just gonna throw some shade over another group of workers. Dispatchers. I am told by many of my trucker friends. That dispatchers can be like this as well. So that's probably what this guy is. He's probably like a military dispatcher.
Probably. Sounds like something, man. That's probably definitely gonna happen to somebody in this world.
I'm hoping that somebody's like driving the long haul and they're listening to this episode and they hear us say that and they just punch the air and we're like, fuck yeah, dispatchers.
Fucking dispatchers. They talk in our next clip.
Fucking computer locked up. That's never happened before. Here we go. That's how I'm going to be found.
Yeah, with a cat crawling out of you. Nah, you'll take better care of them than that.
I'll try and keep them fed, but once I'm gone.
Yeah, you never know. But when you're not reporting for this show, I'll eventually come and check on you. Eventually. I might have to be reminded by somebody. So anyway, so they, all right, so, okay, they get down there,